many times plastic garden pots and tanks that we use because our machine got really
First, we're going to go to the back row. Val, who used to be my friend, asked me to start a butterfly garden here. This back one here. As you walk up, you can see it's not a stunning success. And as we were pulling weeds, my husband said, well, maybe you should leave some of it to show them how hard it's been. So this is my example of when starting a garden is not a stunning success. One of the things is I want this to be a native garden, and natives take a while to establish. The first couple of years, they want to put down their roots. They're not going to give you much show. So I have stuck some annuals in to put some color in, and I planted this garden, and I was watering it, keeping an eye on it, but I got a little distracted with some other beds I had to put in the cities, and I came back and it was carpeted with weeds. So probably my next move is going to be to put down newspaper to smother them and some mulch on top. Once this garden is developed and the plants are big enough, I'll register it with Monarch Watch as a Monarch Way Station. I've got the swamp milkweed you saw at Larissa's house, I think, and I've got the butterfly weed started in the front, and then most of the other plants except for the alyssum and the zinnias, everything else is a native. It just doesn't look like much yet. The bricks along the front, I found on the curb. I got my daughter and husband to pick them up and bring them out here for me. I'm great at upcycling. I keep my eye out when I'm going around town for something that I might need. And the stonework is good for the butterflies when they need to warm up. They can sun themselves on the rocks. So eventually this will be a native butterfly garden without weeds. But this is what it looks like now. And when Val first asked me to do this and she came out and showed me the plot, there was a huge hole here. And she was talking about, filling it in and stuff. And I said, well, I'm not sure I want to. And between the first time she showed me and the next time I was out here, I imagine some kids or somebody had thrown all these broken bricks and crap into that hole. So if anybody knows me, I have problems with my arms. So then it was a matter of convincing my son and daughter to come out here with me and get all those bricks and things out of the hole before we could even begin planting. I think that the reason the weeds are so thick, they're thicker than when I started, is because we've disturbed the soil. And I'm sure there's tons and tons of weed seeds. And that's why my approach is going to be to put down thick newspaper and then put some mulch on top of it. It will be a yard smart garden with no chemicals. Monarchs are a passion of mine. They're disappearing across the country. And in our lifetime, they could completely disappear. That's why it's so important for people to start planting butterfly weeds and milkweeds. With the Roundup Ready crops, milkweed has disappeared in the farms. And literally, a beautiful butterfly we're all used to seeing will be gone. I mean, the numbers have severely been devastated. It could be within a few years that we will quit seeing any monarchs. I know you already don't see as many as you used to, but it could get worse. One of my other passions is the garden pot recycling. You saw a bin over there. That project was started by a few people. At this point, it's down to me and one other woman running it. We have bins at Nepagan, A.B. Hatchery, and Casey's. And we encourage, I know that the city says they have single stream, but that does not include garden pots. They will not recycle garden pots. They throw them away. So if you want them recycled, you need to drop them off at one of our bins or out at the old outlet mall off Wiley Drive. There's a bin behind our building where you can just drop them off there. The bonus about that is that then Jackie and I don't have to go out and put them in bags and haul them over there ourselves if you drop it off there already. It's been a lot of work, but at this point we have kept 47 tons of plastic out of the local landfills.
Yes.
And it is a program under Ecology Action, and Michael supports our efforts. If anybody's looking for something to do that makes you feel good and you don't mind getting dirty, you can certainly contact us. We do have a Facebook page. It's Garden Pot Recycling. We'd love to have any help. Yes, Wiley Drive is off of Market. What do I do with them out there? We bring all the stuff from the bins. We unload it there. We clean them. We stack them. We palletize them. The pots, we usually make bales because pots don't stack very well on a pallet. And then about once a year, we send them to East Jordan Plastics, who makes new pots and trays. We wanted to be sure it was going somewhere that it wouldn't end up in the ocean as an island. So they melt them down and make new stuff out of them. We also try to catch them when they're at the season when they're delivering pots down to growers, and then they just pick our stuff up on a return trip, which would have been an empty truck. So we're pretty careful about recycling everything we can. We have the old blue bins out there, things that come in that aren't within our stream. We'll fill up our little bins, and then we'll drop that off at one of the city sites where you can drop off recycling when it's other things like people's milk jugs, or you'd be surprised some of the stuff we get. Frying pans, telephone systems. You'd never know what you're going to find. But we're really dedicated to keeping it out of the landfill, and it sure needs some help if anybody's interested. I do have a few cards with me. I forgot to grab a bunch. But if you have any questions, I'm here. And like I said, we have the Facebook page where you can go and see some updates. And I think that's all I have. Any questions?